telling us to enjoy it while they're young. But our days are filled with chaos and stress and cooking and endless laundry piles. Where's the time to enjoy anything? Yeah, that's what I always thought too. There's so much I have to do. When do I find time for peace and joy and happiness when I barely have time to sleep? Mama, it's time for a shift. You can be a happy mom. Yeah, it's possible. If I can, you can. Trust me. I've been a mess. I've been depressed. I've been overwhelmed. I've been to the bottom of the pits. And I've risen. I've grown. I've bloomed. And it all started when I realized I didn't have to anything. I get to. It is my privilege and my honor and my divine responsibility to be the queen of my home. It's not a burden. I'm not the janitor and the lunch lady. I'm in charge. I'm the ruler. I'm the chaos coordinator. I'm the calm in the storm. I don't have to anything. I get to. And so do you. So let's rise, mamas. Adjust your crown. Accept your responsibility. And change the effing world. It's all in the way you choose to see it. You're listening to I Get To, the podcast with Brittany Clarkson. That's me. Hey, my friend. I'm so glad you're here to listen to me and to chat with me again today. So today, I think this is a pretty important topic. That I feel like maybe, I don't know, it seems like it gets talked about a lot, but maybe not. Maybe it doesn't ever get talked about enough in the right ways. Okay, so enough rambling. Today I want to talk about how I organize everything in my brain and in my life. Okay, I'm going off notes for this one. Bear with me. We might jump around, but that's how my brain works. It seems super fitting for this episode. If you're like me, you might have ADHD or you simply have mom brain, where all of a sudden your brain is deprived of plenty of sleep and nourishments, and it's just overwhelmed with all of the things, and it's not quite making all the connections it used to as quick as it used to, and remembering and recalling information like it used to. I feel like I'm about to sell you on Ginkgo biloba. That's not what I'm here to do. No, how do we organize everything in your like frazzled mom brain when you have so many things to oversee and so many pieces in your life and in your day? How do I keep that in check? How do I not let my whole life fall apart? It's a pretty simple like 3-point system here. All right, because I am juggling home management, juggling budgets, juggling a podcast and a business. I am juggling personal relationships. I am juggling marriage. I am juggling motherhood. I am juggling 100 thoughts at a time, dreams and ambitions, and prioritizing my mental health because, hi, if you're new here, I have struggled with depression and anxiety for a very, very long time. Well, I did struggle with depression and anxiety for a very long time. I don't struggle now. They are very well in check. And how do I do that? It's because I incorporate mindfulness and mental health tools into my day every day. I am constantly checking in with myself, questioning my habits and my behaviors and my patterns. Is this something helping me? Is this something that's not? And so how do I make sure I'm checking all those boxes without feeling super overwhelmed? Okay. So number one, I use a spiral notebook. And it is just like a trash this kind of notebook. I don't keep any particular rhyme or reason to it. It is just one of the simple spiral notebooks you can get at the grocery store. College ruled. I use my favorite G2 Pilot pens. I'm not selling you on stuff, but I'm telling you, these are my favorite things. And in that spiral notebook, that is where I just keep all my thoughts. all my ideas. It's where I'll process visions, dreams. It's where I will write down, lists of projects I want to do, whether it's in the house or in the business. It doesn't matter. It's one notebook for everything. Um, because everything kind of intertwines for me. I used to try to keep it separate and keep multiple notebooks, and it just got super stressful. So now I just keep one because, it's my life. All these pieces are pieces of my life, and I don't need to compartmentalize between my parenting and my marriage and my friendships and my business and my home. It's all part of me and my journey and my life. It all goes into one notebook. Okay, that being said, things can get lost in there. So I don't typically write down important things that need to be remembered, like dentist appointments and, like top priority stuff doesn't really go in there. It's more thought processing stuff, long lists of things that I might look back on. A lot of gratitude lists end up in there. That's one thing I do is whenever I feel negative about something or someone, I will sit and write out a list of gratitude for it. Um, or I'll do like a stream of consciousness journaling about all the wonderful things about whatever is stressing me out so that I can shift my perspective and not be in this negative Nancy sort of feeling about it. We don't want to dwell on those negative types of feelings. So we go back and we shift and we make things on a positive note. We focus on the good so that we can have more good in our lives. So that's what my spiral notebook is. That's my 1 point of my 3 points. I use the spiral notebook for all of the thoughts, the brain dumping, the everything. It's a catch-all. The spiral notebook is like the junk drawer, not top priority stuff, but things that need to be around, right? And then I keep the reminders app on my phone. So the reminders app on my phone, they came out with a really cool feature probably a long time ago, but I only just updated my iOS like a month ago. I guess it's been more than a month. It's been like 3 months when I updated. But they have this neat thing. I have an Apple phone on the reminders app that just comes on your phone where you can now like indent things. So I keep like one reminder for every day of the week. And then under that day, I'll put, what do I need to do for work? And then indent under that the top priorities for the day in work. I will put like errands or outing, and everything I need to do while I'm outside the house will go indented underneath outing. And then like if I have home care, I'll put any like top priorities, like I need to fold laundry today. Or if I put a load in the washer, remind myself dry laundry. And checking my reminders is something I do almost as often as I open up like Instagram or Facebook. It's just I sit down and I open up that app. That is just a reflex for me because I know if I'm supposed to be doing something, I wrote it down there because I will look at my phone 100,000 times a day. I mean, no, not that many. That is clearly, to be clear, that is an exaggeration. I do not open my phone 100,000 times a day. Maybe 100, but not 100,000. Okay. So that's how I use the reminders app. I have some reminders that are like long-term lists, like home projects and business dreams. But for the most part, I use the reminders app to have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and every week, every Sunday night, I'll go through and I will reset those so that I know what my week looks like. And when that day comes around, I know I'm opening it up and looking, that's right, I have an appointment today. Let's double check information on this, and then I can go into my calendar. Yep, I put that in my calendar. So yeah, that's one thing I do Sunday nights is I'll look at my calendar in my phone and I will look at my paper planner and I will coordinate those into my reminders so that each day I'm just looking at what's on the reminder for today. what needs to get done today. And that's somewhere that I will look all day, every day, because it's my phone. Phone's always with me. I'm always looking at it. It is a great place to store all those things. Okay, so I've got the spiral notebook and I've got the reminders app. Last but not least, the best part of every day is my paper planner. And yep, I'm here to sell you on this one. My husband banned me from buying planners because I think it was 2019, I bought like 4 planners for the whole year. And they were like year-long planners. I bought one that was like $40 and it was big. It was for homesteading. It was a huge, like 2-inch thick spiral planner. It had like your daily planner in it, and it had some like recipe sections, and it had like a garden planner and a homestead planner and all these other planners in it. And I got super excited because I'm like, I can plan everything in one place. But I didn't realize that I would hate carrying around something so huge and thick, because I like a planner that I can toss in my day bag and take with me. Not quite a purse-sized planner, but something the size of my spiral notebook that I take almost everywhere. I like to be able to sit and just write things out, journal all the time. So I take my spiral notebook with me, and I needed a planner that could be about the same size. I tried a lot of like 5-star planners where it's just like a weekly planner, but there wasn't really enough room to write in everything I wanted to track every day. And I got tired of having to like try to customize every single day and every single page for me. I tried a bullet journal, but I hated having to go through and set up every single day again. I needed something that would work for me. So when my husband said I had bought too many planners in one year, I started working on my own planner. And that is the Everyday Joy Planner. And I am so in love with it. It's been through a lot of modifications and adjustments, and it's finally like perfect in my eyes. Okay, so the Everyday Joy Planner, it's just a 90-day planner, 3 months to keep it nice, thin, lightweight. Because a daily planner with 365 days in it, that gets thick. So I kept it a 90-day planner. I do get to have a new one every 3 months, which means I go through 4 a year. But it's not restarting over. It's designed for 90 days. But the best part about it is it's the Everyday Joy Planner, because it is built around incorporating joy into every day. And I took my greatest like mindset and mental health tools and put those in here. Okay, so let's go on a little journey. There will be a link below to go view this so you can actually see what the pages look like too. But every week we'll start out with a brain dump. What is everything you need to think about this week? And you just write down everything that you might want to accomplish, everything you know you have to do. Okay, and write adjacent from that brain dump. So on the same page, you open it up. On the left side is a brain dump, and on the right side, you have all the days of the week for your week planning. So that you can take all those things you want to do this week and decide all on one page which day you're going to do those. All right, and then as we turn the page, we have a full page for Monday, full page for Tuesday. In each day, it is set up for time blocking, or if you really wanted to set it up appointment-wise, it would be really easy to whip out a ruler and a pen and just add in extra lines. I designed it that way on purpose so that you would have, I think, 16 hours possible if you broke it down. Otherwise, you have 4 time blocks. And you can do that as a category block, either by time or by, what it is. So I usually do like a morning block, a noonish block, an afternoon block, and an evening block, and write down what is happening during those times. Or you can set it up as like work, home, relationships, self, something like that, and prioritize tasks and goals in those areas. That's what's so great about it, is it is pretty customizable as far as how you want to set up your daily tasks. and your daily goals and things. It's also right across the top got room for an intention for the day. I am all about living intentionally and not just going with the flow every day, but determining the flow, deciding what kind of a day am I going to have? What is my goal for the day? What is my goal for my life? And how can I support that today? Um, and then it's got space to track the weather. I love going back and looking at what my day was like and remembering what was the weather today. It's such an old school thing. If you've ever like read your grandparents' journals, they would keep a diary, and like every day they would tell you what was the weather, what did they eat, what did they do today. And I just love that this planner is set up in a way that I can also reflect on it and know, what did I do that day? So sometimes I don't always just write in what I'm going to do. I'll go back and refill what I did. Um, and I just think that's a really great practice of knowing how you spend your days. All right, and then moving on, it's got a space for an affirmation every single day. Write in your affirmation. It can be the same one every day, and the act of rewriting it every day. The act of seeing it every time you're looking at what you're supposed to be doing and reminding yourself of your affirmation, or you can use a mantra. Um, like I'm looking at Tuesday right now, and my intention for the day was go at your pace. This was kind of a rest and relaxing day. It was an ebb and flow sort of day, just go with it. And my affirmation was actually a mantra that day that said, a day rested is not a day wasted. And I think it's so important to remember that in all your planning, to plan to just not do a lot. And all I did, I only filled in 3 of my 4 time blocks for that day. I let my morning be for work, and that's all I wrote in was work block. And then the middle of the day, I just said outside play. It was just time to enjoy being outside. And then my whole evening, I just blocked it off for snuggle time. I let that all be such an easy day, and I planned for it to be easy from the morning. I didn't push myself too hard. But here's the thing, I also put in priorities. My priorities for that day were to unload the dishwasher and wash a little laundry. And that's it. Typically, those things a lot of times don't even go on my to-do list because they're such a natural reflex for the day. But sometimes when I don't want to do anything extra in a day, I'll put those on my priorities list just so that I can remind myself, like, yep, I did the minimum today, and that was enough. And then it's also got a space in this planner every single day to write down a little bit of gratitude. It's just a blank block. And what I love about being able to write gratitude into a blank block is you can either fill that with a list of things. You can write one thing really big that you're grateful for. Or you could even, if you're artistic, you could draw something in that space. Like you can just make this whatever you want. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. All right, and then it's got a space to meal plan, and that again is just an empty block for meal planning. A lot of times I only plan out my dinner, so it's plenty of space to write out exactly like I'm going to have this recipe with these 2 sides, and I need to start it at this time, or whatever. Or sometimes I will go through and I will use it as a meal tracker, and I will write down throughout the day what I have had for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, fill in the snacks in between, just so I can keep track of like how many days a week am I eating breakfast. And then it's got a mood tracker, just a scale from happy to sad. How did today feel? Because that again, when I go back and look at the days I've had, I might find a correlation that I tend to have cruddy days when it's raining. And then maybe you can do something about that. What can you do when you know it's going to rain to have a better day? Can you make sure that you're not out running errands in the rain that day? Schedule in extra snuggle time on that day? Plan for a movie. Plan a comfort meal on rainy days. What can you do to make that day not feel yucky? I personally love the rain, but it does put a damper on things. I mean, It's wet. It's rain. Damp. Whew. Okay. And last but not least, there's a small section every single day for reflection. You could reflect on what kind of a day you had, write down anything important that happened that day, or you could reflect. A lot of times I just make a note of correction, like kids need to go to bed earlier tomorrow. It's just space for one last thought of the day. And I really love doing that. And then after your week, this is one of the great parts of this that really helps mental health wise. I mean, the intentions, the affirmations, limiting your priorities to 3 things, practicing gratitude, knowing what you're going to have for dinner ahead of time, tracking weather and mood, and keeping reflection space to reflect on how you felt that day, and time blocking. These are all like top practices when you're trying to incorporate mental health into every single day. That's why this is the everyday joy, because when I have my mental health in place, the joy comes easy. When I'm not struggling to fight my own thoughts, when I have plenty of opportunity to look for the good, to remind myself of who I am, the joy comes easy. It's like the joy is always there and it just gets buried under these heavy weights. And in practicing all these things, you're just removing weight after weight after weight to get to who you are at your core. Like, this isn't just a way to organize your appointments for the day. This is really planning for happiness. All right, but last but not least, I keep saying last but not least, but there's more. There's more. At the end of every week, there is a blank page for you to write what went right this week. So that each week, when you're tacking on the bookend of the week, you are practicing gratitude for what went right. And you know what? I tend to take things that went wrong and learn a lesson from those and put them here too. All right. Instead of saying, like, oh, I failed to do this, I say, I learned this. And I make it a positive so that I'm remembering all the best parts of my life. Okay. And then each month, there's a planning section as well. Each month, there is space at the start of the month to set goals, to write down important things, to track your cycle. It's just a small cycle wheel. But I think it can be it's really easy to just plug in what day you're expecting things to start and redraw lines to edit things. But I think it's really great to not be surprised by that monthly visitor, but to track it. And then there's space to do, like, your monthly goals, the steps that it would take to get there. Of course, there's like a blank calendar at the start of every month for you to fill in all those important dates. And then now newly added at the back of the planner, you might not know about this until you get there, but there are bullet pages at the back so that if you wanted to add, I think there's like three or four pages. But if you wanted to add like a monthly habit tracker, you could draw that in yourself. You could make it whatever you want. You could make it big home project lists, whatever. Like, there's just extra space in there for that. And that is everything I want to share with you about how I keep things in order and how I'm not just constantly losing my mind forgetting everything. It seems like a complex system, but it's so not. What it involves is Sunday night consolidating all of the planners and the things and the notes through your calendars and your planner, putting all of that every Sunday night into your reminders app and making sure that it's in your daily plans. And I would just prioritize whichever one you're going to look at more. If you tend to go to your planner first, you might not even need the reminders app at all. I tend to use the reminders app to remind me, hey, there's things going on today. I need to look at my planner. I need to use my planner today. And that's it. Thanks for listening. You can get the Everyday Joy Planner on Amazon, or you can hit me up and buy it from me directly, or from Etsy. And if you buy from me directly, I actually have planner stickers and tabs that perfectly match the coloring on the planner, that I can add on for you too. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for listening. I really hope this was helpful in helping you untangle your brain spaghetti.